Not even a day has passed. This is like his second day being, well, a mayor of New York City. We're already starting to see material benefits from Zohran Mamdani. In his first official day of office, Mayor Mamdani demotes the police commissioner, NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch. Media coverage of Zohran Mamdani's first day in office glossed over his early exercise of mayoral power. My favorite example of the shallowness of the coverage is CNN's bombshell revelation that Mamdani was distributing hot chocolate at City Hall. Yeah, so we saw the clip yesterday of him basically staying behind of the inauguration after the inauguration was finished, and he was like pouring out hot chocolate for a bunch of the workers who helped set up the inauguration. CNN is like bitching. Why would you bitch about that of all fucking things? Like, it's incredible to me because it's probably something I'm going to be bringing up constantly. Zohran Mamdani is the people's politician. If people have a problem with something, he is more than likely going to listen. In this video, right? We'll go over this video, but unironically, he listened to 142 of his fucking constituents, listened to their problems, and wrote a bunch of notes about it in his fucking goddamn notebook. Which, by the way, that's what you're supposed to fucking do if you're a mayor. If you are a public official, that's the purpose of town halls. Are we essentially trying to say that politicians shouldn't participate in town halls now or some shit? They're already not doing that, and it has a bunch of people really pissed off. Republican politicians already do not participate in town halls because guess what? Their constituents fucking hate them. They fucking hate the actions the Republicans have been doing within fucking Congress. So now we're going to bitch and complain about Democratic politicians who are not participating in town halls. Already a bunch of them don't participate in them anyways because they are soulless fucking grifters who just want to be in Congress for the sake of making a fucking buck from corporations. That's the only reason. Why they participate in politics. So now we're going to complain that Zohran Mamdani is serving the fucking community like he's supposed to, right? That's what you're supposed to do as a mayor of a city. Serve your community. It's public service. This is how this works, but okay, that's cool. An image that trivializes him in the moment. The second to last sentence made passing reference to the first action of his administration, signing a set of executive orders focused on housing. Curious about what those orders are. Tough luck, the multi-billion-dollar cable outlet story doesn't say. Well, that's how you know it's a bunch of good policy, right? Right? I do believe that Ken Klippenstein more than likely goes through all of that. I don't know, why don't we take a look at some of this stuff? So, first off, though we are constantly told that Zohran Mamdani is on a steep learning curve, within hours of taking office, he signed the following executive orders. We talked about this already, right? Prior executive orders revokes all orders issued by the previous administration after September 26, 2024. The reason for as to why this date specifically is that this was when Eric Adams was officially fucking indicted for him being a corrupt fucking shithead, right? He got indicted, and as a result, those fucking executive orders are getting fucking, revoked because a lot of it was pretty fucking dog shit. One of the only one that's getting the most media attention, as Ken Klippenstein is mentioning here, was specifically the anti-BDS laws that Eric Adams decided to put in as a byproduct of the fact that he wanted to appeal to more Zionists as a part of his bid for trying to win the mayoralship of New York City. So, as expected, because he is a corrupt fucking stooge and a shithead, it makes a lot of sense why Eric Adams is doing this. I mean, primarily speaking, he wanted to appeal to a bunch more Republicans and right-leaning people, specifically, because, again, corrupt shithead. He never actually really cared about serving the main constituencies that exist within New York. Just a very small, elect few, like, rich people and Zionist fucking donors, as always, that, shouldn't really expect anything less from someone like Eric fucking Adams. Turkey's strongest soldier. Fucking Turkey. We love Turkey. Turkey. Shouldn't be really surprised by that whatsoever. He's only doing this just to appeal to, again, the fucking Israel lobby, of course. Shouldn't really be surprised by that. There was a New York Times also article about this. Pretty much just telling you everything you need to know. Will the media learn their lessons as to how unpopular Israel is within the United States of America? No. Will the Democratic Party, because most of the people who look at the New York Times are going to be Democratic sort of politicians? No, they're not going to learn their lessons whatsoever. It's going to still be max fealty to Israel. We love Israel, 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 despite the fact that the actions of Israel that they are currently taking within Palestine, the West Bank, and Gaza, of course, is at 9% amongst the Democratic constituency. Yeah, dude, keep fucking, soying out for fucking Israel. Keep showing fealty to Israel. Former Mayor Eric Adams and some conservative-leaning Jewish leaders criticized the revocation of his executive orders. Oh, so then you should just not pay attention to any of this because it's conservatives and Eric Adams who are criticizing this stuff. Very stupid. Signed an executive order on his first day of mayor on Thursday, revoking all the orders issued by former Mayor Adams after his indictment on federal corruption charges, including two that he touted as support for Israel as a bid to try to, win his sort of attempt to, defend his incumbency as mayor of New York. Obviously, that miserably fucking failed. Obviously, it's not going to talk about the anti-BDS laws, because, again, within America, you must swear fealty to fucking Israel, even if you're trying to get a fucking goddamn job. If you have any form of criticism of Israel, then that's obviously bad. There's also a lot of, dumbass fucking politicians, council people saying, we're going to push back against literally everything that Zohran Mamdani does. Nah. I think this dumbass specifically, Ina Vernikov, I think she, Republican councilwoman, so obviously we have to pay so much attention to explicitly the opinion of this fucking dipshit right here. I think she also unironically wore, some Israel fucking dress. Please. Just please keep fucking showing fealty to Israel. This is really, really going to work very, very very much so in the minds of the American people. Let me just grab that fucking image really quick. By the way, if you ever seen any posts from this fucking dumbass, here, immediately on the fucking pinned tweet itself, I pledge to dedicate this year and every year under this administration fighting the radical socialist policies that aim to destroy our city if left unchecked. Yeah, sure, bro. Totally. You're gonna do a really great job pushing back against Zohran Mamdani's very, very, very anti-Semitic sort of and socialist fucking policies. Totally, bro. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm still looking for that goddamn image because it's so fucking goofy, dude. Yeah, here's the image. This is her wearing some goofy ass fucking goddamn Israel dress. Yeah, dude, totally. This is going to be really effective of appealing to the Republican constituency where, generally speaking, the whole sort of shtick right now that's popular amongst the Republicans and their constituents is dumb fuck idiot populism. It's yeah, dude, you guys should keep soying out over Israel. It's going to really, really sort of, I don't know, appeal more and more to the dying coalition that's currently, I don't know, being sort of led by Donald Trump at the moment. Yeah, totally, bro. Nice fucking goddamn dress. Jesus fucking Christ. So, I mean, there's your... I guess Israel's sort of like nonsensical pushback the mainstream media is going to do specifically to try to go after Zohran Mamdani, saying that he's too anti-Israel. That's not going to work. That's a rather popular position within New York itself. Zionists are a very loud and annoying minority that live within New York. There's also quite a lot of anti-Zionist Jews that also live within New York. So this is not exactly going to work out as well as the mainstream media is exactly thinking. And if anything, that's just going to make him more fucking popular. Let's be honest here. So as you know, Kenny Klippenstein himself also mentioned specifically, a lot of the executive orders here sort of sort of tackle a lot of housing issues specifically within New York. So Mayor's Office of Structure and Operations establishes the cabinet and specialized offices for economic justice and pro bono legal aid, probably to go after a bunch of tax cheats, billionaires and millionaires, because I think he also announced a millionaire's tax in order to help essentially go after slumlords, because that's a thing that's very, very common within New York, so that's pretty based. Revitalizing the mayor's office to protect tenants, establishes an office to coordinate tenants' rights and improve housing quality. Yeah, I think unironically, there's like a bunch of instances, because like the basically the first thing that he decided to do was unironically, like he decided to show up to a rent stabilized building whose owner put it into bankruptcy and is planning to auction it to the sixth most like notorious fucking landlord owners, because again, a lot of these buildings within New York are just owned by private equity vultures and a bunch of like private fucking developers as well, corporate fucking landlords that essentially like do not address any of the issues of the buildings, of the tenants. They do not address any of the fucking issues of the building itself. I think it's about 71 units within this building and a bunch of other buildings as well. It's got a collection of about like 5,000 complaints, 14,000 complaints, like tons of issues, lots of violations within these buildings. And are any of these landlords going to do anything about this? No. And by the way, a lot of the reasoning for as to why Republicans often talk about how Democrat-run cities are incredibly fucking decrepit and poorly run is because of stuff like this specifically. This is the law. Zohran Mamdani is enforcing the law here. What these landlords are doing is basically illegal. Now, is there going to be any standards that the Republicans have for Republican mayors for also encouraging and upholding this fucking lawlessness? Of course not. Republicans are fucking hypocrites. They don't give a shit about having any standards or principles whatsoever, especially when it comes to improving material conditions on the ground for people, average people within New York City or any other city within the United States of America. But generally speaking, it's sort of like an unsung rule by a bunch of mayors within cities to essentially just let these real estate developers do whatever they want. By the way, for you abunda fucking dumbasses, all you stupid, like, attempted rebrands of neoliberalism, nonsensical rebrands of neoliberalism, your policies do not address this issue whatsoever either. It does not accomplish any of the goals of these sort of abunda enjoyers, your fucking abundists or whatever, who are talking about wanting to remove the red tape necessary to build more fucking housing within a lot of these democratic cities. If anything, because of the current lawlessness that exists within a lot of these private-run developers who build the fucking housing, again, a lot of reason why a lot of housing doesn't get built within the United States of America is because developers lease the land and then just kind of fucking hold on to it let it accrue more value to sell it off to another developer, and then just continue that cycle over and over and over again. Should tell you why that's incredibly fucking stupid to do that. Because for them, they want to make it such that if they build something on that land, that they're expecting for it to make money immediately, to have a bunch of tenants already ready to move in and immediately paying their security deposits and rent. Because again, it's almost as if having the the profit motive for housing might just be kind of a bad thing, you know. I don't think it's like exactly conducive to producing equitable outcomes from a bunch of different within a bunch of different cities for a bunch of different people. I don't think it's exactly a great idea, and a lot of people are, generally speaking, going to be pissed. And it allows Republicans to have the talking point, a dishonest talking point, talking about how Democrat cities are all inherently mismanaged. Zohran Mamdani is already looking to immediately address that. Also, imagine being the sort of like landlord who owns this building, having an immediate visit from the fucking mayor, like second day into office, to essentially grill you for the fact that, wow, what you guys are doing here is incredibly illegal. And there was a press conference about this where he announced that he's going to try to overtake this building, help the tenants in a lawsuit against the fucking goddamn company, and essentially leverage a legal fund against them in order to try to improve the conditions of the fucking goddamn building. Objectively fucking based. And if the landlords decide to not do that, guess what they're going to do? They're just going to take it over with the city and then actually enforce the fucking law. Actually fix a lot of the complaints that the tenants are having with this building.
Mayor Mamdani's first stop after inauguration was a rent-regulated apartment building.
And this?
Yes, it was like mold, and then the ceiling was like hitting wall.
By the way, mold complaints, cockroaches, rats, all of these things not being addressed by any of these fucking corporate landlords. Because again, for them, it's all about constantly holding onto the land, letting it accrue value, and then when it becomes sort of more profitable to sell it to someone else, or they declare bankruptcy to try to sell it to another sort of corporate fucking landlord, shove all the tenants out and try to get new people in. That's the whole point. It's all a fucking racket with these people.
And then they come and do something here, everything rusty.
Mamdani chose to hold the event here in Prospect Lefferts Garden to sign executive orders on housing. The two orders would create task forces, one to study affordable housing development on city-owned land, and one on permitting and bureaucratic hurdles that make construction costly and slow.
We will also stand up for tenants, build new housing,
Fucking
and get New Yorkers into housing faster.
The applause from residents who belong to a group representing tenants of landlord Joel Wiener, CEO of Pinnacle Group. Pinnacle Group put this building and dozens others into bankruptcy and up for auction. New York One reached out to Pinnacle for comment.
Yeah, they're not going to comment on that shit because, again, they know that, yeah, it's going to make them look really, really fucking bad.
The city is a Pinnacle creditor in the bankruptcy, so Mamdani tasked his nominee to be the city's top lawyer, Steve Banks, to come up with a way to help tenants in the bankruptcy proceedings.
The city's interests are also bound up with the tenants' interests.
Mamdani also picked tenant organizer Sia Weaver to lead the revived mayor's office to protect tenants.
And I want to thank all the members of the Union of Pinnacle.
From what I understand, Sia Weaver here, her shtick is basically like going after corporate landlords like this.
Tenants who came out today.
It's rot.
By the way, this is exactly, hey, lefties, dumbasses, these stupid, idiot dipshits who seemingly don't really give much of a fuck about politics. This is what politics looks like, and genuinely improving material conditions looks like in a political fashion. It's not revolutionary, it's boring, it's not interesting, and this is what it fucking looks like. This is improving people's fucking conditions. Yeah, that's true, Alex. Yeah, it is Zohran Maomdani. That's true.
There's old plaster. And it just really looks bad.
Melissa Hill showed New York One around her $2,100 a month 2-bedroom apartment.
And you've complained about this.
I have.
$2,100 a
No
month.
response. They'll have someone come in and look at it, and that's it.
For which
$2,100 a month. You complain about it, you better expect to see some results to fix it. Because again, if they did this shit in Canada, if I detected a fucking problem within my apartment and I complained to the fucking tenants and they do, or the the company that owns the building, and they don't send a guy to fucking fix it, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to fucking sue the shit out of them. And guess what? They're going to capitulate, because that's what they are going to do inherently. And then they're going to send a guy and pay me fucking lawyer's fees.
whichever entity becomes the new owner, Hill says she expects better.
This is my standard of living, right? And I think I pay a lot of money for rent.
Meanwhile, Mamdani also addressed an executive order that revokes all orders that Mayor Eric Adams signed after September 26th, 2024. The date is purposeful. Adams was indicted on federal corruption charges that day. The case was later dropped by the Trump Justice Department.
They
Of
are
course.
ones that time and time again come up against the interests of working class people.
In revoking Mayor Eric Adams' executive orders, Mamdani was asked about one in particular, the one that created the mayor's office to combat anti-Semitism. That was a big issue during the campaign. Mamdani
Brought up, of course, surreptitiously by Cuomo because he has no other sort of policy to run on.
said that that is important to him and he would keep that office intact. In Brooklyn, Dan Rivoli, New York.
While not mentioning the fact that he revoked Eric Adams' anti-fucking BDS laws. So, you know, whatever. Again, you know, if it comes to fucking Israel, it's all about manufacturing fucking consent for that specifically. Like, again, he is going after people already within Pinnacle. On his very first day of office, Weaver joined Mayor Mamdani to announce the mayor's first action of his administration, investing in the bankruptcy proceedings of Pinnacle Realty, a landlord responsible for more than 5,000 housing violations, is the thing I was sort of bringing up earlier. 14,000 complaints across 83 buildings, and money owed to the city of New York. New York City will take action to seek immediate relief and improve living conditions for Pinnacle tenants, an unprecedented step on behalf of renters living in some of the city's most neglected buildings. Mayor Mamdani has directed his Corporation Council nominee, Steve Banks, to take precedent-setting action in the bankruptcy court to protect the renters of this building and the thousands of other renters across New York cityscape is similar state. The mayor is a creditor and interested party. The city is owed money that Pinnacle never paid and will fight for New Yorkers' interest to safe and habitable homes. In doing so, the mayor will protect tenants already long neglected from further neglect, also, as well as mitigate significant risk of displacement they currently face. Because again, that's the point of all of this. That's why these corporate fucking realtors do this fucking consistently. They will basically auction off the land, not squeeze out about as much money as they can get as possible, sell it off to another corporate realtor, and then the exact same fucking cycle repeats. And then they will proceed to raise the rent and still not address any of the violations and complaints. Again, 5,000 housing violations, 14,000 complaints across 83 buildings. If this shit was done in Canada, this would be a fucking national scandal. This would be plastered all over local news. Guaranteed. There would be so many CBC articles about this shit. But in America, nah. Not even a fucking blip on the radar. So that's what Zohran Mamdani is immediately doing to, again, address housing within his executive orders. Things that he was promised to doing. Like he's going to improve process to accelerate affordable housing. Hey, abunda guys, that's for you idiots. And leverage city-owned land to accelerate housing. Establishes a task force to identify city-owned sites for 25,000 new housing units. It's a study. They're going to see if they can do this, and then more than likely follow through and build a lot more fucking housing. Pretty substantive first day for a politician whom the major media has spent months writing off as an inexperienced, unserious, and ideological. Damn, it's almost as if there was plans for this the whole time, and he had this all outlined on his fucking website to begin with. All of you dumbasses who are complaining about him being inexperienced because he was a state assembly member. Nonsense. Again, an excuse to not address any of the fucking policy. That's the only reason why any of these motherfuckers would bring up the fact that Zohran Mamdani was inexperienced, is because they just don't want to address the fact that Zohran Mamdani is looking to put a bunch of really good policy on the table. Hidden within the executive order on the structure of the mayor's office is a significant, though subtle, shift in the hierarchy of the NYPD. Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch, the symbol of national security astride a city that is undeniably the golden target of international terrorism. Well, I guess also domestic terrorism from ICE, but that's a different story. Has been quietly downgraded, another development that the media seems to have missed. Which is good, by the way. Again, like, they're just going to do their whole maximum fealty to Israel, blah, 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 fucking bullshit. And the actual good policy is going to slip through, well, I was going to say, like, unchecked, but unchallenged by the media. Because, again, gotta swear fealty to Israel at all fucking times. Israel is so important, guys. We love Israel. Guys, we love Israel. Israel, woo! That's probably the most you can do with the NYPD at this point. They're absolutely going to fuck with them. Oh, more than fucking likely, right? But subtle things. Small things. Small things first. And that's eventually going to snowball. Again, Zohran Mamdani is still not operating with a ton of political capital. He can't make major moves against the NYPD for the time being. Why? He doesn't have the political goodwill in order to be able to do that quite yet. To essentially fuck with the NYPD. Well, maybe not fuck with the NYPD, but propose sweeping reforms of the NYPD, specifically, that is going to more than likely piss them off and piss off their police union. And then they're going to fuck with him, more than likely, through whatever policy, or if he, like, attends a protest, or some kind of, like, tenant strike, or what have you. It doesn't really matter. Like, it could be anything. They could do so many fucking things to fuck with him. Do something small like this until he passes a lot of his legislation, what the agenda that he's looking to press forward with, and he's looking to pass, and then, with all this goodwill that he has accumulated, he's going to be able to do significantly more sort of larger reforms of the NYPD. Because again, the NYPD as a political force within New York is significant. They unironically arrested Bill de Blasio's fucking daughter while she was attending a protest. The George Floyd protests specifically. So again, you can't fuck with the NYPD. Not very easily, unless you have an overwhelming mandate of the people, where then if they were to try to fuck with you, the people then come in to say, hey, NYPD, you guys are supposed to serve us. You can fuck off, because currently the mayor is serving us, so you guys can go fuck yourselves. That's generally how it fucking works, but he needs political capital in order to be able to do this. Astride, a city that is undeniably the target of international terrorism, has been quietly downgraded, another development that the media seems to have missed. Contrary to long-time practice, the commissioner will no longer report directly to Mamdani, but to a deputy mayor. The fact that this is a thing that happens, more than likely some bullshit that came out of fucking 9/11, if I were to take a fucking guess. Security, theater, fucking dog shit, essentially meant to help enforce the general sort of rigid hierarchy that exists within. Yeah, it more than likely was Giuliani who did it, if I were to take a bet. Basically making it such that, oh, we want to emulate the president who gets their daily intelligence briefings, as Ken Klippenstein also mentions in this article, in order to LARP like the fucking presidency because of 9/11 happening, right? Security theater fucking bullshit. It's not going to fundamentally fucking accomplish anything. Again, Why does the mayor need to know about all of the actions the police took, like, over a 24-hour sort of span? That's fucking nonsensical. Like, it's stupid. It's a waste of time. The mayor could be literally using that time for anything else. Although, in the case of, like, people like Eric Adams and sort of, like, Rudy Giuliani or, like, Michael Bloomberg, all they seemingly cared about was just giving more power to the police to just fuck with New Yorkers. And as a result, well, fundamentally making their lives worse anyways. Because, again, they serve their fucking corporate oligarch buddies at the top who are, I don't know, attending Jeffrey Epstein parties consistently. So, whatever. So long as they're happy, they're happy. A source intimately familiar with City Hall politics and practice tells me that one of the impacts of this downgrade is a literal change to Mamdani's day-to-day as mayor. For anyone who has ever covered City Hall or followed the mayor's day, the source says the mayor sits down one-on-one with the police commissioner first thing every morning, emulating the president's meeting with his national security advisor and receiving a morning intelligence briefing. Completely fucking overly excessive. You don't need to do this. Again, what is going to consistently happen over a 24-hour period that warrants the fucking goddamn police commissioner to always have to sit down with the mayor of the city? Like, it's fucking stupid. Another source, an NYPD officer I asked about the significance of the decision, told me if Mamdani does nothing, it's meaningless. But in theory, Zohran, the first deputy mayor, can now put added pressure on Tisch, right, to probably improve certain policies. Again, backroom deals that a lot of lefties, generally speaking, don't pay attention to. Is it an intentional slight, or is it just an acknowledgement that Mamdani has his own priorities? We'll have to wait and see. Regardless, I'm sure the NYPD planted articles will come out shortly about how Mamdani imperiled the city. I think there was also like a bunch of dipshits on social media like bitching and complaining about like police officers who were basically leaving the force in 2025. It's just like, he's not even in power yet. Why the fuck are you bitching and complaining about this shit now? That was in 2025. The year just started, you fucking morons, but whatever. Rejecting the state, reasonable, and the do-nothing process of gold government, Mamdani seems to believe in action and is wasting no time in implementing his agenda. Well, there's a reason for this, because a lot of sort of activists and sort of people within DSA have said that he probably has about a year in order to enact a lot of the policy that he wants to basically put in place. If he doesn't do everything that he wants to do in about a year, there's going to be some problems. It's going to be a lot more difficult for him to be able to do the agenda that he really wants to accomplish. He emphasized throughout his inaugural address that bold policy would be a priority of his administration, vowing to govern expansively and audaciously. His inaugural address' most interesting theme to me was his unabashed scorn for the political fear of failure. A very interesting point there by Ken Klippenstein, and I overall agree with it. American politics can be surmised probably with one word: fear-mongering. American politicians love the politics of fear. They love fucking fear-mongering consistently because, again, it's way easier to not address people's material conditions and the problems that they're facing and rather saber rattle and just like constantly be like, oh, look at this like really bad thing that's happening over there. Oh, look at this bad thing that's like happening over there. Oh, that thing is really, really bad, isn't it? Look at how bad it is. This thing, bad, 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 bad. Nightmare, 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 and prefer to have people sort of, I don't know, be distracted with a bunch of idiotic fucking bullshit, whether it be about migrants or transgender people or, I don't know, a war they're trying to manufacture fucking consent for, WMDs in Iraq, for example. All of this fucking politics of fear for the express purpose of what? Distracting people from the fact that their wealth is being extracted by them by a bunch of rich parasite fucking elitists who want every fucking dollar for themselves. That's the point of this. And an explicit rejection of fear-mongering and the fear of failure, as is being said here, is generally speaking really good. Because a lot of politicians are incredibly robotic and are not willing to take risks on anything because it might fail. You expended a bunch of political capital for nothing, and there's going to be consequences for that for your re-election. And a lot of it is because of the fact that, and I think this is something, one of the reforms, like if I could possibly do this within, I don't know, like I could basically have, if I was like king of the world or whatever, or the king of the United States of America, and I could do anything I fucking wanted. Okay, let's hypothetically just say, right? And I could just do anything I want. I mean, the president can effectively do that, but whatever. I would make it such that there would not be house elections every 2 fucking years. Make that shit way longer. Make a term within the House be way longer. Maybe similar to that of the Senate. Maybe 4 years instead. And maybe fucking 6 years, right? I'm trying to remember what exactly term limits within Canada. We don't really have like term limits within Canada. If you're a person in the House, you can basically permanently stay within the House of Commons unless someone challenges you. Generally speaking, the only time when people have elections within the House of Commons, it's only for the it's only for when elections get called by the party that is currently within power, or when elections are basically forced on them, right? If there's like a vote of no confidence that's passed, right, then an election happens. If, say, there is basically the cycle of elections within Canada is about 4 years, right? Every 4 years there's an election. Everyone within the House of Commons has to go back, campaign. And our campaigning season, instead of being a year long like it is within America, is 5 weeks. 5 weeks. And there is a collective pool of funding that every single party has that gets distributed to each of the candidates for them to be able to, well, basically not have to spend any time sort of fundraising, but a collective pool of resources that is given to each candidate so then they can campaign within their district in order to be able to win within their district, right? And every single party has a certain pool of resources that can be donated to by other people. Obviously, that's how fucking lobbying works. But this has the byproduct and the result of there being way less time spent on fundraising and lobbying, and for people to actually spend time governing and trying to pass policy, debate within the House of Commons, normal fucking politician shit. Unlike within the US, which is a complete backwards nonsense fucking system where most people spend time, well, fundraising and raising money and lobbying. That's literally it. And readers of this newsletter know that the temple of fear is national security, which always seems to bat first in our society thanks to the masterful threat mongering. 1000%. It's all fucking 9/11 bullshit. That's why. We may not always succeed, Mamdani said, but never will we be accused of lacking the courage to try. We'll see if the media decides to take notice of the actual policies of the most powerful mayor in the country and his willingness to wield that power. My guess is probably not. I don't think they're going to take notice of that because that's boring. It doesn't bring in the fucking ratings. Because why would they? Right? Why would they? Unironically, why would they? That's not fucking interesting. Who gives a shit about that? Meh. Whatever. Fuck that bullshit. That's not going to bring in the ratings because all of these, media corporations are private fucking institutions. So, final fucking meme here. This was a video released before Zohran took power, or just as he took power. He sat down with 142 New Yorkers, constituents of his, sat down with them, and talked with them about their issues. Why don't we take a look at this video? By the way, this is a thing that politicians do not do anymore whatsoever, because all of them are a bunch of corporate fucking robots. Oh, that's 1000% Boy Meets Minnie. Yeah, Zohran Mamdani's social media game, I think, is probably going to continue and maybe even get more aggressive, to be honest, because again, like, everyone's going to be like looking at this. Guys, it turns out that people used to be able to voice their concerns to people within power and talk about their fucking issues, right? This used to be the fucking case. But again, a lot of the parties within the United States of America are not interested in representing people. You know, they're more interested in ruling people. That's true, Boy Meets Mini. When America was a real country. Because again, politicians have their jobs because of their constituents, not the other way around. They were not ordained by a divine fucking power to hold their position in office. They have to appeal to people to get into office.
What's on your mind?
So much. Grew up in Astoria. My wife and I have a 5-month-old. We can't afford to live here. You know, millionaires aren't leaving. Families like mine are leaving. It's a punchline to buy something here.
We used to live in this neighborhood for 5 years. We had to move out because it was just like we lived in a 1-bedroom that was converted to a 2-bedroom, and it was too small for our daughter.
Finding a place, period, is hard, right? Like finding roommates, I don't know. Okay, for me too.
Well, I think a lot of this is actually what there is for us to do, and I think this is something I've heard from so many New Yorkers, which is that they don't feel like they can get ahead in the city.
My mother asked if you can really focus on affordability when it comes to groceries. My sister's concern is safety in the subway, and my dad, well, he kind of just didn't really care.
I know a lot of Staten Island gets a really bad rap for a lot of reasons, but I love Staten Island, and Staten Islanders rely on buses. It stops running at 10 p.m., so it's just like really difficult to get anywhere because these children, they travel for hours on buses that are old. You know,
like this one?
Yeah, that's a city bus, baby. We're talking about the yellow school buses. They are old. Like this bus contract that now, thank God, for 2 years instead of 5.
We were not expecting any of this. We were coming to the movie and heard you were here, and yeah, just really excited to have the opportunity just to say hi.
You can if you move it. We can't. Nothing's as good as a real bus.
By the way, I'm gonna tell you right now. No Democratic politician could do this. Look like an actual fucking human, right? This is incredibly fucking humanizing right here, and because it'll be and I do think this is gonna happen. More than likely, he's actually going to be someone who actually wants to address the problems of New York.
So I have a question for Mr. Cardamom first.
Okay.
I think it's obvious that, like, who knows our affordability crisis better than your favorite SoundCloud rapper?
Yes.
And which you can relate to, obviously.
Yes.
In my building, landlords are encouraging rent-stabilized tenants to move out and sign a waiver of stabilization, which is like destabilizing the entire building.
The Bronx has the lowest life expectancy of all 5 of the New York City boroughs. It has the highest poverty rates, and it has the greatest reliance on Medicaid. They are extremely vulnerable to Medicaid cuts included in OB3.
I want all New Yorkers to have access to fresh tomatoes, specifically tomatoes. I'm a huge fan of your plan to have a city-run grocery store in each of the boroughs. There's an opportunity with the green markets and farm stands through NYC to leverage that network, and from day one in your administration.
Dude, imagine like farmers markets in fucking New York, similar in like big European cities. Oh, I fucking love going to fucking farmers markets and shit in like fucking Bucharest and like Pitești and shit. Getting fresh brânză de borduf, getting some fresh fucking goddamn tomatoes. Oh, that's the fucking good shit right there, dude. I fucking love the farmers markets in Europe. Because, again, like, all this stuff got basically fucking wiped out because of car infrastructure.
Put fresh food in front of New Yorkers.
What's on my mind is extreme heat and flooding in New York City. Really, when we're thinking about New York City and the time that we have to respond to the climate crisis, it's an issue that can't wait.
And what's on your mind?
My mind right now, I was just talking with, I think his name's Patrick. We were talking about Rikers Island.
Okay.
So I had this college class in my high school. I'm a junior in high school, and we're talking about the future of Rikers. But my question is, like, how are we going to get it done?
Yeah.
I think Rikers is a negative stain on New York City.
A law was passed here in New York City that would mandate Rikers Island be closed by 2027. And since then, especially under the current administration, they've done almost nothing to do that. 4 years ago, we had less than half of the jail population we have on Rikers Island now. So the entire plan is built for a jail population of less than half the current one. And so in order to actually close it, not only do you have to build the 4 borough-based jails, but you also have to have a smaller jail population.
I work as a therapist in inpatient psychiatry for adults living with serious and persistent mental illness. As we know, mental health is a very big issue in New York right now. And what I'm concerned about is that because of federal funding cuts and Medicaid cuts, there are step-down programs that are starting to close, like partial hospitalization programs, intensive outpatient programs, which are really critical in reducing recidivism rates.
Can you tell me a little bit more about the programs that are set to close?
Intensive outpatient programs, like the one I have heard within health and hospitals, are starting to close, or they're losing funding, basically federal funding. Essentially, they're struggling to have enough people to participate in those programs.
Struggling to get participation from New York.
By the way, this is a great thing happening right here. Because again, did Zohran Mamdani know about this? Maybe, maybe not. He didn't really talk all that much about healthcare within his policy platform. I'm not sure what the state of New York sort of like a healthcare system is right now. I'm assuming it's probably going to be better than the rest of the sort of country because they have a lot more money and probably can pay a lot more money into being able to provide some form of better resources for healthcare, but it's still probably difficult and heavily fucking privatized. This is stuff that no other mayor would have heard about or addressed and potentially start to look into and do something about it. Because town halls like this, not done. Constituents do not talk with the people in power. Very, very often, they do not. Because of the sort of like ideas, just like, ugh, listening to the issues of the dirty poors, why would we ever do that? Ugh, disgusting.
Because of restrictions that would allow people to be in those programs, or because of lack of insurance that would allow them to be participants.
You said you're looking for some childcare. So I'm a single mother. So my question is, how it will work? Like,
try going to LA City Council. It's during daytime work hours, and they severely limit public comment. Of course, it's during daytime work hours. Bastards! It's like them always putting elections during daytime work hours. A thing that we also do in Canada, which I think should be fucking changed. I think like it should be a national fucking holiday for people to go and vote in elections.
Is there any criteria between rich and poor, or everyone will get it?
So with universal childcare, the vision is for everyone, no matter how much money they make or how little money they make, for everyone. Like public schools. If you have a child and you want to send them to a public school, they don't ask you how much money you make. Everybody can go to public school.
We live in the Bronx, and when I'm 68, and when I moved into the building, I wasn't even 21 yet. And when I moved into the building, it was rent stabilized, and it was tenant run.
It was tenant run?
It was tenant run. This is back in the 70s. The city appointed a managing company, and, it's not a good story. And thinking about the fact that I moved into a rent-stabilized building when I was not even 21, and here I am 68, and I'm worried about us being homeless. It's disgusting.
I'm actually been, since COVID, I've been part of a lot of sweeps, basically once a week for the whole course. It's like the sweeps. Yes. And, I have a different perspective that I've seen at the beginning, and, a lot of people, they can see the message, but they don't understand what went on in the toughness and the grit of the people and the changes, and that it was... Yes. At COVID, yeah. COVID for up till now, it's, we might do it.
Yeah, by the way, which Bill de Blasio was trying to address with the rent stabilization, rent freeze plan, that he was going to implement, but guess who fucked with it the whole time? Oh, Andrew Cuomo as governor.
It was basically some people,
You be swept in one place and you just...
And literally you can go back 4 hours later, and what was actual that they're claiming, that's why they're claiming that it's law, but it's really not.
I have never experienced this type of fear, agony, and impotence ever before in my life. I fear being sent to a country that feels strange to me now. I fear not seeing my mom ever again. I fear not seeing my grandpa.
I'm assuming this is more than likely an illegal migrant who might be the potential target for ICE, because again, ICE is still gallivanting and patrolling within New York City. Zohran Mamdani has the ability and the power to be able to stop a lot of ICE's sort of actions and enforce the sanctuary city laws, because, quick reminder, New York City is a sanctuary city. Federal law enforcement is not allowed to just go in and randomly just arrest a bunch of fucking people without probable cause. Something that should be enforced by the Constitution, but Republicans in the Constitution, they don't give a shit about that thing. Generally fucking speaking, a lot of cities with sanctuary city laws say, hey, you're not allowed to just randomly fucking go around and arrest people. That's illegal. You can't do that. You have to have a reason to fucking do that. But do Republican administrations give a fuck about any of that shit? Absolutely the fuck not. No. And Eric Adams, as a deal after his indictments on his corruption charges, he had a deal worked out with the President of the United States to get a pardon for that indictment, and essentially just allow ICE to be able to gallivant about and just arrest a bunch of people illegally.
Parents ever again. They are old, and I know that I only have a very few years with them. I fear not seeing my brother, even if it is just to argue. But mostly, I fear not seeing my baby brother ever again. He's just 3 years old, and he is what brings happiness to my life. Now, all the times I have nightmares, I dream that I'm being taken away, or my mom is being taken away, and I can't do anything to stop it. Sorry. So please go above and beyond to protect people like me, or like my mom, my brother, my neighbors. Please.
Sorry, my English is not so good. I will just... Okay, first of all, congratulations. Your empathy deserves to lead. Okay, number one. Number two, thank you for creating softness in people's heart. In world where people are not united. Okay. The third one, please continue to be our light and hope during this difficult time.
Thank you.
Really, you, my family, my daughters, my husband, everyone. When you go outside New York, I see some happiness and satisfaction in people's faces. I'm a very good observer. So I saw a little change in the people's faces. Like hope.
By the way, this is stuff, this emotion right here that this lady is expressing is what the establishment wants to crush. Hope. Belief that better is possible. Which is why I have said it is incredibly fucking important. Very, very fucking important for Zohran Mamdani to be successful because, like I said before, the attacks, they're not stopping here. They're only going to continue, right? They're going to throw everything, I mean everything, at the wall to try to fuck with his administration. The stupid, like, I don't know, like 3IQ New York Times article, this is just the big, this is just a little fucking test to see what happens. Obviously, this is going to go nowhere, right? Because everybody fucking hates Israel, and everyone despises fucking Zionists, especially within New York. Nobody fucking likes Zionists, okay? They're stupid, they're whiny, they're bitchy, they're annoying, right? And they're just going to keep fucking going with all this bullshit. This is an emotion specifically that they wanted to crush. And sort of like trying to go after him is like the bullshit right now with the revocation of those executive orders. That's just the beginning. This is fucking nothing. They are going to be constantly focused in like a hawk, constantly watching like the eye of fucking Sauron for any slight misstep, any fucking failure within fucking Zohran Mamdani's administration, and they're going to run a story about it. Every Zionist account's going to soy out over it. All the fucking oligarch dipshits are going to soy out over it. All of these forces that are currently in play right now are going to try to do everything possible to make it all about the failures of socialism or whatever gobbledygook bullshit they want to fucking come up with. They will do anything about it specifically. Yeah, that is true, Alex. They are currently busy with Venezuela right now. That's true. But because they want to kill this emotion specifically. Hope. They want to kill the hope that people are having for something to finally improve within the city of New York.
Light, happiness, because of you.
What's your name?
Samina.
Samina?
Yeah, I'm from Pakistan.
Pakistan?
Yeah, उर्दू आती?
हाँ। बहुत तो नहीं सकता हूँ।
अपनी पढ़ते लेकिन मेरे हाँ तो मुझे दिया था कि मुझे पता नहीं इंग्लिश मेरी बेटी कहती नहीं मामा को आती है आप चाहे उर्दू में बात करें।
कहाँ से हो
पाकिस्तान लाहौर से।
मैं कब गया था?
ये लाहौर
बहुत खूबसूरत
शहर है लेकिन आप जैसे लोगों ने आके न्यूयॉर्क को बहुत खूबसूरत बना दिया है यकीन करिए वो खूबसूरती अलग है बिल्डिंग्स की हर चीज़ की बिल्डिंग लेकिन जो खूबसूरती आपने लोगों के दिलों में दी है ना और जो सॉफ्टनेस डाली है मैंने बड़े हार्ट को बदलते देखा यहाँ पर ऊपर वाले भी और नीचे वाले भी दोनों आपने लोगों के दिल बदल दिए और ये आप एक कितनी गिफ्ट होता है अल्लाह की तरफ से आपको मिला है।
थैंक यू।
ठीक है मैं दिन खुशी होती है समझ में और क्या बात करते इंग्लिश मुझे अच्छी आती है मैं आपसे इंग्लिश में अच्छी बात करती हूँ मैं आपसे इंग्लिश में अच्छी बात
जो भी बोलना है
आपकी आंखों में जो एक सच्चाई है ना वो किसी से छुप नहीं सकती किसी से छुप नहीं सकती।
थैंक यू।
And this is something that you will never fucking see from any of these robotic fucking politicians. All emotion has essentially been killed. All of it. Because this is exactly the sort of stuff that they want to destroy. People in power do not want to see hope, joy, happiness, and some form of aspiration for something to improve, to ever flourish. Because guess what? That means the people in power are going to be fucking challenged. And that's exactly what these stupid billionaire fucking asshole leeches do not want. It's about killing all hope.
Hello. Hi.
Good to see you. Thank you.
Very welcome.
My name is Anastasia Tsaitsia.
Yes, what's on your mind?
I'm an asylum seeker, queer, Russian exile journalist. I've been in New York since January 2022.
Oof, queer Russian exile journalist? That's a rough one, buddy.
And it feels very special to be
especially if you're in Russia.
We're not allowed in the spaces of power, and we are usually reduced to the case numbers or A numbers, and it's very special to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you how you're planning to address ISIS presence in the city, and also I believe that the sentiment towards immigrants and asylum seekers in the country right now is not the best, and I faced it myself so many times when I was going for job interviews. People would be worried.
Oh yeah. Oh, by the way, dumb fuck racists. Yeah, not all asylum seekers are going to be brown people coming up from the south. It's also going to be a bunch of white people fleeing political persecution from places like Russia.
That if they hire me, they make troubles. Yeah. Because I'm a asylum seeker, and it's really hard to explain to them that I'm legal. I have a work authorization. and I'm overqualified for the job sometimes, but I'm still here. And I was also laid off during the funding cuts. I was a research challenge under asylum seekers research here in an NGO. And yeah, I've been wondering how you're planning to address immigration.
I think there are a number of things. I think the first is to use the bully pulpit to actually say that we're proud of being a city where more than 3 million New Yorkers are immigrant, myself being one of them as well. The other also, there have been documented violations of sanctuary city policies here in New York City, and under my administration there will be no tolerance for a violation of that law. That law makes clear that there cannot be coordination between the NYPD or other city agencies and ICE unless it's pertaining to around 170 serious crimes that someone has been convicted of, as opposed to what we are seeing right now, where there is someone sitting in prison, today sitting in detention rather.
Or they just see a guy who's a little too fucking Hispanic and they just like grab him off the fucking streets, which again is a violation and has been challenged in court, and the administration has lost on those grounds
because of the fact of that collusion that took place. The other piece here is that I'm going to say to everyone, including directly to the president, as I have, that these ICE raids, they do nothing to further public safety. They're cruel, they're inhumane. And then there's also the fact that there are many people who are looking to use this climate of fear to exploit immigrants here in terms of their status as workers. I spoke to someone earlier today who told me about a building.
Very, very good, specifically that Zohran is talking about this. Again, a lot of building owners, like he's going to say right now, are going to use ICE. And guess what? Trump has done the exact same fucking thing to Polish migrant workers. He threatened to use Customs and Border Protection and enforcement to deport them from the fucking goddamn country, who were working on building some of his buildings. And for what express purpose exactly? Oh, because they were thinking about organizing a fucking union. That's why.
About a building owner who refused to provide repairs. The family advocated for repairs. Then the super of the building hired someone to put up posters threatening to call ICE because he knew that they were undocumented. So retaliation, the tenant issue, the tenant immigration issue.
Yep, exactly, Alex. That apartment building, which is now getting closed down, and that was a ICE raid with the Black Hawk fucking helicopters. Yeah, that was at the request of fucking landlords. And by the way, same thing also happens in New York. Oh, 1000% Boy Meets Minnie. Yeah, he claims that he's pro-labor. He only wants to be more exploitation of fucking labor. Again, like, nonsense. He doesn't have a fucking populist bone in his body, but unfortunately a lot of dumb fuck, like, conservative Americans are going to fall for that shit because, again, like, he sounds like a megachurch pastor and that's familiar to them.
So there's also the need to provide accountability in that way, and some of that comes from the city has a Commission on Human Rights. It's incredibly underfunded. People do not even know to call it to report discrimination. You should actually enforce it.
Thank you.
Very welcome.
And also I have a question about recent ICE raids at Canal Street. Police was playing on the side of ICE, and like how safe are we under the current situation with the police in the city? It is worrying me because every time I go outside, I feel like if I might be detained, something might happen to me, and no real ID or work authorization will protect me.
Yeah. I will be making very clear that the NYPD's role is to deliver public safety in the city, not to assist ICE in their operations. The current administration has opened the door to civil immigration enforcement. We're going to close that door very firmly and make clear that there will be no assistance. They will be separated entirely. And I think there are the difficulties of the fact that the federal government can still make its own decisions with what they want to do with ICE, but we're going to keep making clear that it's an attack on the entire city.
And one last question, if I can ask.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm the last one.
No, the next person.
Yeah.
Oh, you're the final person? Oh my goodness, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Please, you can ask one more question.
Thank you so much. Yeah. When did you finally start feeling that you belong to the city? Because for me, it took up till today to actually start feeling as if I'm a New Yorker. Yeah.
You are a New Yorker.
Thank you.
You are a New Yorker.
Yeah.
When did I thought of myself, part of it is I grew up here, I was 7 years old when I came, and so my sense of self was tied to my sense of the city. I felt like I was a New Yorker from a very young age. I didn't know that I had a home in New York politics, though, until I worked on a campaign for a man named Khalid Al-Yatin, ran for city council in Bay Ridge, and that's when I saw myself in our city's politics. And I think that my hope is that that's what our administration can do. It can make sure that everyone knows that if they live here, they are all here. So there's it. Thank you very much.
You're awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's the first time I feel excited for politics in a while, because I don't have my home country anymore, because it's no more. And now I have this as my home, and it became so special for all of us. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You'll never see this from any Democratic fucking politician. Or, I mean, Republicans would be like, go fuck yourself, go back to work or something, you fucking lazy bitch. Go fucking, I don't know, like, clean some fucking dishes or some shit. That's what a Republican politician would say. They'd just be cruel about it.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Maybe humanity isn't dead, guys. Gavin Newsom would never.
How are you feeling? That was pretty amazing. It was a lovely, lovely day.
Gavin Newsom would never.
Full of notes and full of New Yorkers. It was pretty amazing.
How many people today?
I didn't, but it was a blur. I saw numbers. I think 144, 141, 144. I feel like my cup is full with what New Yorkers have shared with me today. It was just a beautiful snapshot of the city. And, am I tired? Yes, but there were multiple people who came here who commuted more than 2.5 hours from Staten Island just to have 3 minutes to talk to me. One of them just telling me about their favorite bus. And I think New Yorkers are actually the ones
who love the bus.
The standard. We're just trying to do our best impression of matching it. Because these are people who give themselves to the city, and they rarely get much back. I think it was 10 hours ago, a man named TJ sat in your chair, and he said,
and it kind of breaks my heart because a few years ago, I woke up and I said, listen, I realized I'm never gonna get ahead here. Someone like me who doesn't come from much, who does things the right way, I just had that realization. It broke my heart that I'm never gonna get ahead here.
And I think that speaks to a lot of people who feel like they just have no shot in a place like this, and it's our job to give them a shot. And many people today give us ideas of how we can do so.
True, Alex.
I've been thinking about this for a long time, and this was one of
10
the
hours,
things I would
man.
say where
Crazy.
The day itself was even better than the idea. This is why we all work so hard. It's because it's for a city that we love, and it's for people that we love even when we don't know them. And it was beautiful. Just thinking about what people shared with me. I mean, there were undocumented New Yorkers that told me about the fear that they live with each and every day when they leave their home. There were New Yorkers who told me how frustrated they were that after living here for generations, they couldn't even conceive of affording it any longer. There were New Yorkers who talked to me about the issue that they were focused on, whether it be the migratory patterns of birds or it be the importance of every New Yorker to have access to buying a fresh tomato.
We love tomatoes and birds, don't we, folks?
The breadth of interest was incredible. The fluency in the issues, the reality of just the stakes that people are living with every single day, and the pressure that our politics has put on the backs of working people. The bravery was incredible. I'm glad that we did this.
A politics of hope. That's what Zohran Mamdani is bringing to the fucking table. Something, a future, something to fucking aspire for. And that is what the corporate establishment fears the most. This is something that they've wanted to kill in the hearts and minds of Americans for decades. And they more or less did, right? Unfortunately, hope is something that will spring eternal. And even in the greatest moments of darkness, the tiniest, most brightest fragment of light will always break through from the darkness. And Zohran Mamdani is that light. He will be that shining beacon who will essentially signal to the rest of America that better is possible. And he is already having an impact. And it's not even been 2 fucking days in his administration. He's already, contributing to a legal fund to fight off against corporate fucking landlords. This is what fucking politics looks like. It's boring. It's uninteresting. It's not fucking revolutionary. But it means something to a lot of fucking people. And this idea of hope is what the establishment fears the most. The tiniest shard or fragment of light breaking through all the darkness that essentially makes people want to check out and no longer participate, thus allowing the current power structures to be maintained and allowed to be sustaining on the blood of fucking dying people, of dying Americans, because it doesn't just have to be New Yorkers, but on the blood, sweat, and tears of dying Americans who have to continuously suffer with the depreciating material conditions of the past 50 fucking years. This is what hope and aspiration looks like, and the politics of hope. And this is why I say 2026 will be the sort of year of hope within politics, an aspiration for something to be potentially better. And it's because of this man right here, Zohran Mamdani, who is already having a fucking impact. And of course, the media, the bourgeoisie, they're going to do everything possible to try to destroy this. They will, because they know. Oh, they know that this is exactly what kills off their consolidation of power. Exactly this. Which means you have to fight twice as fucking hard now that he is in power, because the bourgeois, the corporations, the rich, they're not going to stop. They're never going to stop, because again, the fragment of light is attempting to fucking break through to try to do something. It is up to us to try to keep back the fucking darkness so then that fragment of light has time to work its magic to work through the fucking darkness. Don't think there's really much else to say besides that.